It's all Super Bowl.
It's all clean.
My headphones are all messed up, and I'm still using the shitty ones.
Buy some nice ones.
Yeah.
Because
You
they
don't have
broke.
to use those shitty ones.
Why are you going to use the shitty ones when you can use the nice ones?
Well, because the nice ones are broke.
Oh.
Who broke it?
Who do you think? I'm
Oh.
in space.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. I'm going to go get me some chocolate milk. Fuck it.
All right. You have 10 seconds. Go.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm taking you with me, man. Here we go.
I can show you the world. Take you into my kitchen.
Grab some milk and I'll pour a glass and be so satisfied. I can pour me a glass of chocolate milk, maybe. I'll add a banana and other desserts, eat them through the show. Oh,
No, you will not eat them through the show.
I will do whatever I want.
You will not eat them through the show.
I will do whatever I want.
It's my Super Bowl halftime show. I do what I want.
I do what I want.
I do what I want.
That's right. I do what I want. If I don't get it, I'm going home.
That's right. Yeah. Everybody ready?
I was ready as we're ever going to be.
So is next week the Coles?
No.
Yeah, no. The week after.
Third weekend of the month, Joe.
Third. 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, next week is the
no
third week of
wishing
the
for
month.
more wishes. Yeah, so
It's
it'll
the
be,
third week of the month.
yeah, so it'll be the
It's the third day of the month. This is this is the day the music died.
Yep.
The 17th he'll be gone. So maybe on the 17th we'll ask. We'll get our guest here, Scott.
I may try to line up a guest.
All right.
A guest person. I don't know who that is, but we'll see.
Guest person. Oh yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, me too.
Welcome, guest person.
How you doing, Mr. Guest Person? And of course, we'd like to interview you for the Squares of the Round.
Well, it wasn't going to be more of an interview. It was more going to be along the lines of, you're here for our fun. Shut up and enjoy.
Yeah, just shut up and say nothing and let the rest of us talk for the next couple of hours.
No, that person can talk. It's just a matter of...
they can say yes or no.
Well, they could do more than yes or no.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Well, I mean, in fairness, when it comes to the news of the square, that's kind of what it turns into. Yeah. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
My forehead feels warm. I need to take some pills before I go to sleep.
I'm just glad you weren't watching J-Lo, because then it would be your foreskin is warm. Hello!
Shakira is hotter than J-Lo.
Yes, I have to agree.
I don't know about,
there's something about red that turns me on.
Did you see she wore the same outfit as her character in Zootopia?
No, that was actually disproven because the person that designed the dress did not have any working knowledge of the Zootopia character, but it just kind of happened like that. So no, unfortunately,
it's accidental, but it still happened.
All I can say is to the people who keep sitting there saying to me, "What am I, Mom?" Say to the children about who are saying, "Mommy, what's this stripper pole?" All you got to say is, "Well, it's what Mommy does exercises on Tuesdays and Thursdays."
And you expect them to believe that?
That's how we pay the bills around here, son.
Well, no, I'm serious.
Ooh.
There's a lot of
fitness clubs that are using that as a real deal thing. No. Oh yeah, there's schools that they teach pole dancing that now. It's all over the internet.
That's why we pay the mortgage in $5 bills.
Oh yeah,
$5 bills.
$5.
Boy, you're high rent.
I was gonna say, yeah, they get away with $1 in the whole situation.
For the proof, Mike's not been in the club.
No, he's never been in the clubs. No.
Never.
No. We got to change that.
Yeah,
we do.
Why, so I can go home alone?
No. So we can go ahead and turn you into an Oreo cookie at the end of the night.
And
Ooh, I can see it now.
Welcome, everyone, to Squares of the Round Table. Welcome back. Episode number 86. It was a very good year. And with me is Jeff Stein.
What?
Hey, that was Jeff over there.
I know that was Jeff over there.
And over there is Ivan, too. Hey.
Hey, how we doing? This is still Ivan.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. I'm always
We're talking about stripper poles because the Super Bowl was yesterday.
Yes.
And you can't have a Super Bowl without a stripper pole.
Apparently no longer not,
No, so now they're going to make this a yearly event every year.
So next year we'll have Lizzo on a stripper pole, right?
No, man, I wouldn't mind seeing Lizzo on a stripper pole.
That could be interesting.
That would be cool, actually.
That'd be interesting.
I would like to see that.
There's a part of me where that would be interesting. There's a part of me where I'm like, I'd like to see the physics to that. And I'm saying that as a bigger person. I'd like to see the physics to that.
Believe it or not, there is a woman out there who is as big as Lizzo actually teaching stripper pole classes.
Oh, I don't question that it exists.
Yeah, it does. It is a thing.
I'm sure it does.
And it's amazing. And
so
she does a
we've set a bar, so any Super Bowl halftime show from now on must include a stripper pole dance.
And to see, and of course
that is difficult shit, by the way.
But you telling me?
Oh, I don't have. Oh, yes, I am. It asked me how I know.
Ask me how I know.
Oh, you too, huh? Okay. I am really glad in the 90s there were no camera phones. That's all I can say.
Well, put it this way, man. I mean, in the 2010s, as of a few years ago, I worked at a place called 5 Star, and they had their own back room with their own stripper pole and their own base, and any number of people can go into the back room and work the stripper pole, and But drunken people should not work a stripper pole. That's
not true. It could be rather amusing.
Oh yeah, it could be amusing, but it could be also very dangerous because that's awfully
big. Yes, it can. Well, not that I would know anything about that, but yes, it can.
In between the stripper pole dance, there was a football game. So congratulations, Ivan. You're the only one who got the call right.
Yes,
for
I know.
Picking the Chiefs.
Kansas City. Yes, baby. Hey.
After we told you which two teams played, you successfully selected the winning team.
Yes, I did. See, well, guessing is 50-50, so there you go. I mean, I could have been half right or half wrong, and there you go. Worked out okay.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't watch the game, though, did you, Ivan?
I watched some of it. Tonight, actually, I watched some of it. The highlights on the news and things. Yeah, and the 24-year-old MVP and all of the belts.
You mean the guy the Bears didn't draft?
Yes, exactly.
There's no guarantee that if the Bears drafted him, they'd have gone to the Super Bowl. So
not
there's
really.
Dancing around the hypothetical is not my thing.
No. Are you kidding? I mean, the Bears, before they ever get back to the Super Bowl again, they need to revamp their team entirely. That's about as much as I know about that.
I don't know about that.
Well, at least 3/4 of them. Come on now.
No, I don't think they're as bad as people think they are.
Well, they're not as good as people want them to be.
Well, right. No. But the point being is, honestly, it depends. They could go one of two directions right now, which is you could start to go back to a rebuild mode,
right?
Or you could go for it. I don't know what they're like in terms of cap room, but fairness and we're not. It's funny, we don't talk sports a lot on this show, but in fairness, one of the things I laughed about when people kept yelling about Mitch Trubisky is, the offensive line was not very good this past year. The running game was not very good. The wide receivers, with the exception of, what's his name? Robinson. with the exception of Robinson, weren't very good, and they didn't have a decent tight end all season. Well, okay, where did you expect the offense was going to come from?
Okay, granted. And this coming from the man who wrote an article on Facebook saying, "Oh, I used to be good at sports, and I kind of shot you to rights when I'm saying pretty good. You were the voice of double overtime, man." And I'm going to tell everybody in the world that, yes, okay, all right, and here's where I go ahead and I toot my horn, toot, toot, for the great Jeff Stein, because of the fact that I was there watching all that happen and all the things you got to do to that. So, yeah, dude, you know your sports, man.
Oh, I do. I just don't know it like...
Well, you know what? You got people out here that believe in you in many of the aspects. And and I'm sorry, I had to remind you, as maybe others may have not reminded you, but just, of the knowledgeable things that you do know about the games and about the sports and all of that.
Well, again, in fairness, I haven't kept up with a lot of the new metrics and a lot of that newer stuff in terms of metrics purposes. But
you got it down when it comes to the facts and the figures. You got it down with the stats. You got it down, and you can make an argument for anybody, because I've seen you do it and I've heard you do it. My ears, heard you for myself for several years when we did double overtime, and let me tell you something, that still to me is one of the peaks of my life, having been the board man to your show.
So let me tell you where I am kicking myself as usual. See, when I used to do the sports show, Mike, here's the amusing part. I used to tell people, don't ask me what to bet until I sit there and go into the unconscious stream when I go on the show. I can't tell you in advance. I can't tell you any of these things, but when I'm on the show and I make predictions, write and jot them down. And whatever you do, don't ask me to bet them. We will lose. Okay?
And guess what? Okay.
Don't ask me to bet them. We will lose.
You're saying you don't trust your gut? You don't trust your instincts?
No, it just seems to be, for some strange reason, it never works that way. There was a series where I can't remember who was betting, but there were friends of mine that in the 90s, anytime I had Northwestern and Purdue down like nobody's business on spread, and you could make a lot of money with me because I could tell you before the game even started when they were going to cover the spread and when they weren't. The point being was yesterday. It was funny, before I wrote that thing, one of the things I was going to say is, and if you can find the person who's doing the prop bets, for first person to score points in the Super Bowl game, I'd take Robbie Gould.
Okay.
I don't know what that went off at, but somebody made a lot of money if they did it. If I would have made a lot of money if they had done it.
Yeah.
Because, sure enough, Robbie Gould's the first person to make the points of the entire game.
Funny,
I'm sitting there kicking myself.
Back in '86, my parents flew with friends of theirs, and they were going to Vegas for just to have a good time, But the Super Bowl was that weekend, so they bet. Well, my dad's friend bet with another guy on the plane that the fridge would score touchdown at the Super Bowl, and he did.
There you go.
So just strange stats, strange happenings.
Oh yeah, the prop bets are crazy.
Yeah.
Like there was a prop bet. Like, give you an example on how crazy the Super Bowl prop bets get. There are odds at the coin toss.
Yeah.
About whether it's going to be heads or tails.
Right. I mean, you get people that they have the. I'm sorry. You have people that they have the Super Bowl parties. They do everything from the coin toss to the point spread to the score, the final score in any given.
No, I got better.
Okay.
You could get at one point the over under, and they had to move it because too many people were taking them up on it. The over-under for when Demi Lovato would finish the national anthem at one point was 1 minute 56 seconds. Too many people were taking the bet, so they moved it to 2:01. That's a real bet.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
They bet on
believe
everything.
it. They bet on everything. They, I mean, it was. They're good. They bet on how many costumes how many costume changes that the dancers in the halftime show are going to go.
Yeah, or like when the Bulls were hot, you get stuff like the two teams combined versus what the Bulls will score in the game.
Then you also had,
like or no, maybe it was Jordan. Jordan.
It was Jordan.
It was like both teams versus Michael Jordan. Which one are you taking?
Right. And then also, within the frame of the game, how many 3-point shots were going to happen in a game?
Oh, that's different. I'm talking about, like, literally it was like, you could take the, like for example, just to give you an example, let's say Michael Jordan scored 50. Okay. And obviously, and so yesterday the game was, was 31 to 20. So, like, for example, if it had been Michael Jordan in the current Super Bowl, like, if you had taken the Super Bowl, you'd have won by 1 point.
Oh, I see. Per game, I got you.
Right. Will the two teams combined outscore Michael Jordan for the game?
Right.
They would do that as a Super Bowl thing because the NBA would play on Sunday usually before the game.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that stuff exists too. I mean, that was.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you could put your money down on it, you're going to find something for it.
And it was. I missed the first quarter, but it was an exciting game. It was.
It's certainly better than last year.
Last year was a blowout. Yeah.
Last year's snooze
fest.
They
only scored 13 points.
Yeah, it's boring.
Snooze fest.
All right, before we get into commercials real fast, I'm just curious. I'll throw this one by you.
What's that?
Okay, so
throw it underhand. It's Monday. I'm a little slow.
I'm trying to. Next year's, and I'm not looking for an over/under. I'm just saying in general.
Okay.
Next year's Super Bowl halftime is
Weird Al Yankovic.
No way.
That's what we want. And I know it's what we want. We're never going to get it.
Yeah, you're never going to. Even though that would be a good show.
Yeah,
Lizzo
it would be.
For next year.
I thought about
as long as that includes a stripper pole, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Lizzo on the stripper pole. Now
you think there's enough sentiment out there for Lizzo?
Well, right now, I mean, she's been very strong in the last year. I mean, she's in the NPR ratings. She's been killing it. She's been doing a lot of stuff online. She's had her name out there. She's doing a lot of performances.
Maybe.
Yeah, but she hasn't earned it yet, like J-Lo or Lady Gaga.
Right.
Okay.
She hasn't been that mainstream yet.
Well, no, she's not that mainstream yet. But remember, we still got a year, and you know how some people
we've had a female act, so this year next year we have a band or something
Do we? All right.
We had the Maroon 5 with the shirtless guy with all the tattoos.
Yeah. Why?
So maybe I don't know, maybe the Foo Fighters. I don't know. I don't know if they.
That's an interesting one. I hadn't thought about the Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see Greta Van Fleet at the halftime show. Not.
I hadn't thought about the Foo Fighters. My first reaction, because I'm trying to think, because it's like, I can't imagine that, there's too many hip hop acts they won't put on.
Well, okay.
They're not going to put Kanye on. They're not going to put Jay-Z on.
Can they put Diddy on? I mean, they can put Diddy on.
Well, Diddy. So, when's the last time Diddy had anything out there in a long time? It's been a while.
Well, other than the dedication to Kobe Bryant during the show, during the game, and the little dedications they did for Kobe Bryant. I mean, he was out there doing that groovy thing. But yeah, so that's probably the latest thing I've seen him do. But as far as bands are concerned, most of the bands that we all know have gotten older, and And are they as established or together? I mean, are they on the face of music right now? Because all I'm seeing is the female artist, the male solo artist. The boy band thing comes and goes.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, that's done. And even like some of the bands, like I would immediately thinking about, like Metallica feels play. I mean, Metallica would be cool, but Metallica feels play. It's like I feel like that should have happened.
Yeah, Metallica should have happened. Okay, Van Halen didn't leave the starting gate at Jimmy Kimmel.
Guns N' Roses are doing a global tour next year. Maybe GNR.
Yeah, but can you trust? You can't trust Axl
Rose to keep his voice
together.
Well,
they trust him enough to launch a global tour, so.
Oh, you can't trust Axl Rose. Rose. No way.
He's too much of a loose cannon. That's the only
way too much.
Rose,
no way.
He's too unpredictable. The Stones, Well,
they did it. The Stones did it a while back.
Yeah.
They did it a while back, but, to do it again, I don't know.
No, they wouldn't do it again.
I think Taylor Swift got too political. I don't think she can do it.
Oh, no, I don't think she can do it.
I think people would revolt for the Jonas Brothers. I don't think the Jonas Brothers would work.
Oh, well, why don't we just bring Hanson back together and let's get them up there.
Hanson.
You know what name immediately came to me though of somebody who hasn't done it yet? That would be a big name.
Who's that?
Christina Aguilera.
Well, that would be good. I would watch for Christina Aguilera. I could watch. Yeah, but yeah.
That's the first name that came to mind. The only other name that comes to my mind at this point is Rihanna. I'm just not sure.
Well, how about Little Kim? I mean, we could.
I don't know if she's up to much.
No. See, like for example, like
Mary J. Blige.
Oh no! See, that's older. I mean, at that point, we're talking.
Well, okay. See, now as far as like of the newer, of the newer artists, I mean, all right. I mean, Justin Bieber, he's already going through all kinds.
He's having some emotional problems right now.
Maybe Ed Sheeran.
Huh?
Right? Maybe Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran, or how about that? How about the one new artist that one on the?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, he'd be great.
You mean Billie Eilish? But she doesn't have a lot of material.
Well, maybe
she's
not.
She's 17.
She doesn't have a lot of material. She doesn't. There's not a lot there.
Well, it was just like Lorde. Remember Lorde?
Yeah.
Yeah, Coming Gone with the Wind. Let's see. Yeah.
I mean, here's a question: you think they'd go to a country artist?
They might. I mean, it could happen if they did if they went to a country artist. But what country artist? But I bet you they would go to a country artist with a crossover appeal before they go to a pure country.
Carrie Underwood.
Okay, or Florida, or was that line? I'm trying to
Florida Georgia Line.
Florida Georgia Line, or
maybe
they do a lot of Arena Rock. Yeah.
You know who else I just thought about? I didn't think about it till just now. Kelly Clarkson.
Okay, how about Alabama Shakes?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that's one of the newer kind of multi country / crossover bands that have been making the rounds lately too. So Alabama Shakes.
Well, what's his name makes sense. Well, hey, now here's an interesting idea.
What's that?
If you did Blake Shelton with current girlfriend Gwen Stefani,
that could be good, and then
that might work.
That might work because then they can cross both borders.
Yeah.
I mean, he can do his groovy thing. She can do her groovy stuff, like what she used to do with No Doubt and everything, and kind of combine this together. I think that would be awesome. I think that would make a great halftime show.
Yeah. I figured I'd ask that because I was like thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about this today. I'm like, all right, who's out there that you could really? I mean, I feel like in some ways it's like sometimes I'm like I felt like I was grasping at straws on this, but okay, so there are some options that because I can tell you who's not getting picked. Like I don't see Taylor Swift, I don't see Bieber, I don't see the Jonas Brothers. I think in a few years the Jonas Brothers. But the Jonas Brothers maybe if they retain their fame long enough to get to next year, because I know they were hot for a while and then they kind of
petered out after the whole.
No, don't they have something out now?
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
know.
They have now. They got some current stuff going.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the band Tool. The band Tool was huge back in the 80s and 90s, but now Tool's got an album out, and you got people asking, "Who the fuck is Tool?" You know.
Well, that was funny.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
That was the best. That was the best when we did News of the Square.
When all the Taylor Swift fans didn't, we got.
Who the hell is Tool?
No, Tool's not mainstream enough.
No, well, Tool.
I know, but it's still funny.
It's still funny though. It's still funny though.
You know who would be interesting, but they'll never let him do it.
What's that?
Eminem.
Well,
They would never let him do that. No way.
Well, you never know.
He's too
You
risky.
never know.
He'll say something stupid.
Well, he will. Well, most of the rappers of that ilk kind of put it out there. I mean, they don't. A lot of them don't have a filter on them. I mean,
Right.
So I mean, that's just like having Wu-Tang Clan go out there and do that groovy thing.
You do
a
20-minute.
Wu-Tang's never happening. Wu-Tang is never happening.
Yeah, 20-minute rap battle against Nick Cannon. Yeah.
There you go. We could do the Wu-Tang Clan with whoever's left of Run DMC, and maybe I don't know. Maybe Will Smith will make an appearance and.
No! We need an appearance by Public Enemy doing "Fight the Power."
There you go. Or NWA. That NWA.
You know what?
Tang.
LL Cool J would work.
What?
LL Cool J would work.
LL Cool J would work. Yes.
And you know
yes,
what? Will Smith. You know what? I wonder if they could get Will Smith to do a halftime.
Put it this way, a Fresh Prince style type of thing that like he did back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. I think
you know what? That would sell.
That would sell. In fact,
he was, even though he hasn't done anything recent, that would still work. He's got enough material. He's still star power.
Yes, he still draws. He
would draw.
Have
enough appeal. Yeah, you know what? That'd be interesting.
That would be awesome. That would be so cool. I'll put my money on that.
You know what? That would be a great idea. I mean, the question is, would he do it?
Well, I mean, he was there. His happy. He was in a dark ensemble, black slacks, black shirt. He had a black cowboy hat with sequins all up in it, and he was at the game and everything. So he's still out there. So.
Oh no, I mean, but would he?
Would he go back and do that if the money?
Right. I mean,
if the money's good. Put it this way: with all those commercials that they pay, all that money for that game, you would think that the dispensing of cash to all those people that they pay out for, he wouldn't sneeze. He wouldn't sneeze if those people gave him.
Do the artists get paid for doing a halftime show?
No.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Yes, they do. They get a percentage of the receipts from the advertisers.
Do they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I know this. I know that there's what they call the Super Bowl bump. That, after you've done the Super Bowl, there's usually a decent sized bump
in record sales.
In your sales across the board.
Exactly.
Everybody's had a bump. Everybody.
Exactly. See, and that is why they do the Super Bowl thing in the first place. Because one, the money's real good, and two, the promotional and the publicity goes through the ceiling once you've done Super Bowl. So
right.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if J-Lo and Shakira don't end up doing a tour together and ride
That'd be interesting.
And ride the rails of that.
I just saw. It's really funny. So remember, guys, I saw J-Lo over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you now, I thought she was better on her own than I saw at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the two acts, they seemed just like two acts. I mean, they did a couple of moves together at the end, and that was it. So it was two acts in a Super Bowl.
They weren't there. Yeah, they weren't there like together, but they kind of blended their situation at some points.
Well, no, I mean, if looking at what J-Lo did, I know why I felt like it didn't work for me with J-Lo, which was there was not enough stage for what J-Lo was trying to do.
Well, you got to figure that J-Lo is a very, she's very athletic on stage. She uses a lot of space.
Well, it's not even that, but I'm talking about with the amount of dancers that she brought in to kind of do what she was trying to do. That is not a lot.
Yeah, and like Shakira was on the guitar, and then she was on the drums, and then she was on the trombone, and then she was on the harmonica, and then she was on the triangle. Yeah, she did everything.
By the way, can we talk about the fact that the Fox censors apparently didn't like J-Lo because every time there was a shot that looked interesting that was anyway sexual, they cut to something else or a long shot.
Oh, how about the center of the camera pan slide towards the camera? Hello.
Although there was the Shakira crotch shot that
and then the tongue thrashing. We can't forget the tongue thrash.
That's already an instant hit on the internet.
Are you kidding? That's memes.
J-Lo did grab herself.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
At the end, it was funny because when I was watching her at the end, she looked like she was mad about something, like something didn't go right.
Well, she's a bit of a perfectionist, so
she's a total diva. So.
And of course, to still be able to do things she does at 50 years of age, it's amazing the stamina and the power that she's got and everything that she does at her age. It's really amazing. It's really pretty cool.
So out of curiosity, because I gotta be honest with you guys, I had a pretty good TV weekend about binging, so I got some serious content.
Well, good.
So,
okay.
Before we get there, though, I was curious. Thoughts on commercials?
Oh, the Bill Murray one, obviously, because I'm like Woodstock is like 10 minutes away from my house, so.
The one about Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm. The Jason Momoa thing was interesting. I don't know if
and then
you guys
second
saw that
is the I posted it to Square's page, the teaser for WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
I didn't catch. I felt like that the way they did it was such where I'm like, okay, I have to like freeze frame every frame to figure out what the hell they just did.
It was whirlwind, yeah.
Yeah.
Just flew past you.
It was a teaser, yeah.
Oh, it was beyond a teaser. It was blink and you missed it.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to do that.
Yeah, poor Disney Plus could only afford a 30-second spot.
Yeah, seriously.
Then Disney's kind of hard up on money right now.
Well, with everything that I'm sure, with everything else they got going on in the world. Or
Bloomberg bought all the commercial time.
I bet you he did.
He did have one. So did Trump.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That was unmemorable. Okay. The Iowa caucus. the Iowa caucuses is having a field day.
They start tonight, yeah.
Back to political. Let's try to stay away from that.
Yeah, Super Bowl was the game was fun, but the commercials were mostly pretty lame.
Yeah,
they were not. The Hammer one wasn't.
It's like the Fast and Furious, but it's funny because one guy's on the tractor. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, okay, that's a brainchild there.
Yeah.
There were a couple that were halfway decent, like the thing with MC Hammer with the Cheetos fingers and stuff. That wasn't bad. The Momoa thing wasn't bad, where he basically starts taking off all his muscles and he looks like some little scrawny
He's a bald, skinny guy.
Yeah, the bald, skinny guy. That thing was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That was.
Did you know he started out as a landscaper? Because Jason and Momoa.
Oh.
No, I did not know that.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I thought the Tide thing went too far.
I like the Wonder Woman tie-in.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah.
I was impressed by that.
Yeah.
But I thought that went too far at times. I was just like, really?
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
Oh.
Super Bowl, because I missed the first quarter, so I didn't get to see all the commercials, but I heard about the ones. And like the Alexa one with Ellen was kind of lame. Just like, Oh, see, they didn't have Alexa back then, so they had other people just do stuff, you know.
Well, there's the NFL commercial that they did for NFL 100 with the kid who was running with the ball and he ran past a whole bunch of stuff. That wasn't bad either. That was like one of the opening ones where in the end, right at the end, he like runs into Virginia McCaskey who hands him the ball. Then he runs out on the field for real with other kids. So,
I saw that. Yeah,
that wasn't bad.
Does the kid run past J-Lo on the stripper pole?
No.
Okay. Just
no.
It was kind of awkward when she does the pole dance and getting back to she does the pole dance and all of a sudden there's kids on stage. I was like, weird.
Well, her
weird flex, but okay.
Well, her 11-year-old daughter debuted.
Yeah. See what mommy?
No,
does?
I've seen her. She's taking her on tour. She was with her on tour when I saw her. She debuted on. She debuted on the halftime show, and I guess they did something that was slightly politically driven. You know, the kids and the lighted cages, and
and then the one shot where she's on top of the pole and she stretches her arms out. She's like, she's invoking the crucifix.
Yeah. You know.
So anyways, so the game was fun. Commercials were forgettable, but
all in all, you know,
the Super Bowls here and gone.
Well, the halftime show is probably going to go down, you know, in history as one of the better ones we've seen.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because the reaction I saw amongst a lot of people...
Some might say it was inappropriate for kids, but...
Well, okay, here, trivia question. Who did the very first halftime show?
Oh, I saw that. Carol Channing.
Edison, I don't know.
No, Carol Channing. Jeff got it.
Carol Channing.
Yeah, they did. They said about the first Super Bowl where it was Carol Channing. I was laughing. Like, I can't believe it was Carol Channing.
That's what we need. Lizzo and a hologram of Carol Channing on a stripper pole.
Oh, my God.
Because diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Carol Channing on a stripper pole is like...
I think that's our title for this week.
What, Carol Channing?
No, it's diamonds are a girl's best friend. So yeah,
Super
Bowl.
I thought we were going to name the show Carol Channing on a stripper pole. That'd be
no Carol Channing hologram on a stripper pole.
Yeah, there's the name of it.
With
show.
Lizzo,
that right
starring
there.
Lizzo.
Anyway,
so what you been watching, Jeff? Aside from football, sports.
So did you? So I don't know. I think I showed both of you guys that. Picard episode 1 was free.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for next
CBS
week.
All Access.
I'm waiting to binge it. So you can give your thoughts on it. I don't care. Spoilers.
It's good.
I hear it's good.
It's solid. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. I have to look forward to that now.
That's good. Well, like I said, Ivan, it's out. Okay, so episode 1 is out there on YouTube.
Okay.
For a limited time.
For free.
So I would say pick it up.
Okay. Well, I can get that on my smart TV. Yeah.
And it was funny because I'll be honest, I'm thrilled about the part that they don't do with Picard what like William Shatner would do with Kirk, who was like in his 70s or 80s. Like Kirk would be like, I'm a badass and I can fight off a whole bunch of guys and I'm still Kirk. And they don't really do that with Picard. So I'm kind of thrilled about that because it's like,
Picard was never about fisticuffs. It was about diplomacy and stuff.
Well, that was part of the problems I had with the movies when they did Next Generation too. Was all of a sudden Picard became like this, like fighting
action
guy,
hero,
and
yeah,
I'm like, action hero Picard, and I'm like, what were you? What show were you watching?
That was pressure from the studio because you can't have just Picard standing on the bridge all the time. He's got to have him in the action.
Well, isn't that what Worf was for? Or Jonathan Frakes or Data or Data, depending on how you want to call it.
Oh, hey, watch it there, Pulaski.
Data.
Anyway, so I'm glad you liked Picard. Yeah, I'm going to watch it with a friend of mine. We're going to binge it. I haven't watched the first episode yet. I don't care. But here's good. So.
But yeah, and then I caught the first 4 episodes of Star Trek Discovery for the first season.
And?
There's definitely some giant logic holes.
Okay.
And I can see why people don't like it.
But for common guys like me, do you think it would make for entertainment?
If you're going to leave everything at home and
Or to the
not
sci-fi
think about
layman
things,
like Ivan is.
Yeah, I think Ivan would be okay with it. But even Ivan would probably sit there and go, but that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, it's like that. Okay. So these are noticeable logic holes.
No, I say Discovery
Ivan's
doesn't
seen-
really get good for me until season 2, where you see Pike. That's just
I
me.
think you've watched enough Star Trek, Ivan, for you to sit there and go, but that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I've watched, here and there. I'm not as fluid in any one series, but the series that I do watch, in certain times and places, I have a working knowledge of it. So maybe if I did watch,
that's what I'm talking about. Like I said, you have enough of a working knowledge from the original show because this thing's supposed to be set 10 years before.
Okay, so it's like a prequel to the original.
Yeah.
Well, it takes place before Kirk and Spock.
Right, it takes place before Kirk and Spock, and I think there will be things that you look at and go, but that don't make no sense.
Okay, it's basically that's what's wrong with writing backwards in relation to writing forward, because of the fact that unless you really do your research and you really do everything you can possibly do to keep a consistency in order to write backwards to make it palatable and to make it where it does make that kind of sense, that's a hard thing to do. Unless you do it on a consistent basis, like how they make sequels to movies, 1, 2, 3, one right after the other. There's no loss there. But when you're going around, when you got the original series and this series and that series and this is, but we're going to go ahead and do this prequel, and then fart out this thing that happened 10 years before the fact. That's an awfully big risk you're taking for all kinds of mistakes.
Well, and then it's all right. Now we're going to put our stamp on it too.
Okay.
Yeah, where it's not like the 60s where it's cardboard sets and big shiny candy like buttons,
Well, and now we're going to reimagine things too. Like we're going to reimagine the Klingons.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I had some issues with that for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, here's the other problem. Look, I get that the Klingons don't speak English. That doesn't mean I want to spend 4 goddamn episodes sitting there having to read the text.
Right.
I don't want to read the text.
Do like they did in October, where they just flipped it when they're in the room together, all speaking English, because they can't have half a movie with subtitles.
Right. I mean, I swear. I mean, I'm like just sitting there, and I'm like, come on, really? I mean, after a while, it's like at first it's like I get it, then after a while, and then it's like, and Mike, you've seen more of it than I did.
Yeah, I've seen all of it.
You've seen all of it. So
I've seen season 1 and 2 of Discovery.
Right. So to me, it's like there's a part of me where I'm like, why are we spending so much time with the Klingons?
Because they're the bad guys.
Well, I understand, but you don't.
It all goes back to character development, and of course, sometimes character development, depending on who's writing the episode or who's producing or directing the episode, how much of that character build they want to pour into it. I guess some of them felt, well, we really need to get to know the Klingons better, but most of us are just saying, why?
Well,
they're the bad.
They talk about, the show, season 1, they talk about how the Klingon Empire is fractured with all the houses, where this one Empress, what's her name? Emrel, I think is her name. She unites the houses and makes the Empire stronger, and thus, we have this incident with the Shenzhou, Captain Giorgio's ship, where they plunged the Federation and the Klingons into war. That's the focus on what's going on. And, of course, how it's Michael's fault. Yeah, great character name, by the way. It's cool. But isn't that a boy's name? Yeah, great name for a character, I gotta tell you.
So what you're saying is that it gives it clarity when there's enough of a character.
You just gotta wait it out. You gotta look at the big picture, Jeff. Just keep going.
I don't know if I will. We'll see.
Well, no, but Jeff, that's because you're I'm like that too sometimes, where I want the instant gratification of.
I'm not looking for instant gratification.
But you want it to quit. Why are we doing it?
Well, no, hold on a second. It's not instant gratification. It's you could do what you're doing, and it doesn't need to take up this much time and this much space. Ivan, it takes 3 episodes for them to finally get on the freaking Discovery.
Well,
it takes 3 episodes.
Well, they got to set up Michael's backstory and Philippa's. You'll see Philippa later.
See, that's what I'm saying. As far as
3 episodes.
Yeah,
no offense.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's called a series, not like one movie.
Well, but we're not talking about a movie. How many episodes does it take to get?
Some dedicate whole first seasons.
Well, but here's the thing. Okay, maybe there's this concept. See, there's this concept that I remember learning about storytelling that's called in res, which means that you start where you start, and then you can go back in the season and explain things.
Well, I don't want to have like a whole
season.
like season 2 of Titans that did this, where you have like whole episodes as a flashback.
As flashback, which
I just prefer to keep it all linear.
Yeah,
just like the prophets of the wormhole.
Okay.
They like it
we haven't gotten to Titans yet. We'll get to Titans. In a minute.
Yes, apparently we will.
We'll get to Titans in a minute. But it takes 3. I just don't think it takes 3 episodes.
Well, it does. So deal with it.
What?
Deal with it.
He said, Mike, he deal with it.
And that's why, Mike, I probably won't continue to watch it. Because it's because there's been a lot of time on backstory about Klingons that I care freaking less about.
And Michael and her relationship with the Vulcans. And I mean, there's character building, so it is mostly about Michael.
Character building. How long does it take to build a character?
You'd be surprised.
I mean,
sometimes, like I said, sometimes whole seasons have been dedicated to just that. To character building.
Okay, hold on a second. I understand that you need to build a character throughout a season and continue to build the character. I totally get that. But when it takes you 3 episodes to get to the name of the ship that you're spending your entire freaking show about.
So, do you think you would have liked it better had it been explained in 1 episode instead of 3?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I don't think it takes 3 episodes. I think you could easily have done what they needed to do in 1.
Well, there's something to be said about foreplay, so it all just comes down to, kind of whetting the appetites of the audience.
Well, spoiler alert, Jeff, they spend the rest of the series on Discovery, so.
Right. Well.
They're on it, so they don't leave it.
Well, and then it's like right away, and then we go right back to typical, like somebody who used to watch the old plots where it's like, what can we do to Wesley or Data today when they create the animal that does the thing with the spore drive?
The tardigrade, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, someone needed something stupid that we could create that.
It's the spore drive that the ship has that allows it to travel anywhere instantaneously across the galaxy.
Right, and by the way, we have that 10 years before the Enterprise.
Well, they explain why we don't have it in the age of Kirk and Spock.
Do they or no?
Yeah, they gotta wait it. You gotta wait it out, bro.
Okay.
So no triples.
I think we do maybe see a triple or 2.
Oh my god! And the captain's got a triple at his desk, and there's only 1. How's that work?
Just don't feed it. Don't feed it.
Malnourished triple.
When it breeds, kill the rest.
Yeah. Now do triples multiply all onto themselves, or do they need other triples to multiply?
No, they don't. Triples don't fuck, as far as I know. All you
gotta do is eat.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And he's got 1 on his freaking desk.
That's all they do is eat and breed.
sound like a lot of pets I know. eat, breed, and shit.
Sounds like certain men I know, but we won't even get into that.
Oh, well, hey, take a shot at it, baby. Go ahead.
I'm not even going to go that far. Yeah,
No,
I don't, like I said,
bad.
it's better than I thought it would be, but there's just so much stuff where I'm just like...
I hear you. There's a lot of slow-moving story.
It's like... Because at first I'm like, okay, fine, the Klingon thing. And then I keep going with it. And I'm like, you guys, this could be done in a shorter time frame and still give us what we need.
Well,
you don't need to spend this kind of time.
Well, at least you don't have, Martin Scorsese directing, or you'd end up going with...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. It's... You know what it is? Here's the problem that I'm having. Here's the problem I have with this show. And by the way, Titans has a little bit of this problem, too. Titans has a little bit of this problem, too. Everybody is writing... It's like they don't have enough material for their story, so we gotta put all this freaking backstory stories in here for other shit later, because we don't have enough story. Why don't you just write more story, you dimwits?
Because that'd cost money.
Well,
right.
That doesn't... Okay, if you know... Okay, here, ready? Here's an idea. If you only have a story that takes 5 episodes, just do 5 episodes.
Not 11.
Yeah. Not 11.
Yeah, I hear you. That's why I gave up on the CW. It was just too slow-moving, too much talking, too much drama.
Oh, no. Hey, look, let me tell you something. This is why I laugh sometimes when people say to me, like people will say to me, it's like, I want to watch, like, Arrow, but I'm far behind. What do you recommend it? Is there anything I should know? Yeah, skip this episode, this episode, this episode, this episode. You only need that episode. You can get past that one. I can tell you, like, there's like in a season of like a CW superhero show, there's easily like 10 episodes you can skip.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That if you don't need to watch, that if you want to
that
just
don't
follow
advance
the main story,
the main arc.
Right, you don't have to follow them. You don't have to follow them, and that's what I love about that. Because it's like okay, great. If I really just want to speed up and catch up, all I got to do is like say to somebody with a CW show, "Oh, you can skip these." Versus when I talk to somebody about Game of Thrones, and I'm like, "All right, I'm 7 seasons behind. Which ones can I skip for the primer?" And they're like, "Oh, you can't skip anything." I'm like, "I have 7 seasons. I'm not catching up. Screw you then. We'll do this another time when I can be leisurely."
Well, here's something to think about, though. I mean, do you think that producers of television / series are still under the old rules of that the episodes have to be interchangeable, so they don't have to be sequential after their initial run, so that way they can run them out of order?
No. Well, let me try that again. For the comedies, yeah.
But I'm saying,
because the only show that I can think of where it's like that, where you can do that, is like Law and Order. Like those kinds of shows. Those shows, yeah, but like the superhero shows and stuff like that, no, you got to run them in order.
But if they're not built for that, do you think that if they're written in that way, do you think maybe that's why there's so much skipping and everything, because of the fact that these are the episodes that you don't have to watch them all in a sequence. You can just do this one, do the first one, do the 5th one, do the 9th one, and then conclude with the 11th one.
I think the answer to the question is that if you're talking about a network show,
mm-hmm.
like CW or networks or some of those network shows, here's the thing. They get paid because they're network shows. They get bigger runs.
Well, they go vacation over time. Yeah.
Well, but they get bigger runs of what they need. You have to give them 6 months. Good shows.
You have to give them. Yeah, you have to give them 26 or 50.
20. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 plus episodes.
Because they're in the goal of getting it syndicated. So.
Right.
Well, not only syndication's changed a little bit, but you got to cover all that time.
Yeah,
on
26
those
or
networks.
50 or 52 weeks, 26 weeks or 52 weeks,
But I mean,
depending.
the truth is, and I've had this conversation with a couple of people before. If I was the CW and I was doing superhero shows, I would do 13 episode arcs, and then what I would do is I would have more shows and rotate them.
So basically, what you're saying is you run them every 3 months and then rotate the programming within a 13 week frame.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because you could do more. You could do different superheroes then.
Yeah, you can probably get more superheroes.
Right. I mean, like you
that.
could do, or here's a thought: do instead of writing one big arc a season, write 2 arcs a season. Have 2 different villains, or something along those lines. I mean, one of the things I love about, I can't remember what Legends of Tomorrow's run is, but the last few seasons, their run has been about 16 episodes versus like the 20 plus. And to me, it makes the show better because they're spending less time with the BS.
Yeah, and quality over quantity.
Yeah. Although let's be honest, I've seen shows where where it's supposedly 13 episodes, and the BS you're still BS.
Well, again, like I said, because sometimes they'll dedicate an entire season to character build.
Yeah.
And then they'll go the following season, then they'll get to all the juicy stuff and everything because they want to see.
No, they don't.
If they pass muster to continue a series. Some series run like that,
Some, but not as much in the not as much in the current era with Netflix and stuff like that.
Well, no, I don't think that's as much evident now, especially with the art of binging, which of course has become a new thing in viewing. Where you could go ahead and wipe out an entire couple series, a couple of a whole bunch of episodes all in one fall swoop.
Oh, you mean like what I am? You mean the fact that in 2 days in 3 days, I'm pretty much all done with Titans. I'm 2 episodes away from being done with Titan season 1.
Exactly my point. See?
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but you're not alone. There's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah. There's something to be said about the weekly premiere. Like when The Mandalorian was dropping one a week. That was great. That was a weekend event.
Right.
Hey, my family.
Well, that's because they made it an event. See, it made it something that you look forward to, on a particular time and place, and then you got to it. And,
so with Titans, what else you watch after Trek and Titans?
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I got to, but
okay.
We'll get to Titans in a second. But real fast, Ivan, I think it's funny. I'm still conditioned for the. I'm still conditioned for the weeklies. I'm just not conditioned for the. I'm not here. Ready? I'm conditioned for the weeklies on the network shows.
Okay,
or on the show, or on the stuff where I don't have to pay extra to go get it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But as far as like streaming services or like Netflix or like any of the like Hulu and all that, yeah, it's right there. You just boom and you're done.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. In some regards, it's like Mike said. Mike was cool at the fact that Mike with Disney Plus. Mike, you bought it. What? How many? You bought the package, so
I'm in for the year.
Bought it. Is it through the year or multiple years?
I'm in for the year.
But it costs you what, $4 a month because you paid in advance, right?
About 5. It was like 70 divided by 12, so.
Yeah, so about
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. See, if I was doing something like that with Mike, okay, weekly's cool. Weekly's good. But like, for example, for somebody like me, if I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't want to pay 2 months of Disney when I don't think there's anything but The Mandalorian. Well, okay, and I've said this before. I haven't done it yet. Mm-hmm. Supposedly Disney's giving a free week away. Well, my understanding is not one of those Mandalorian episodes is longer than an hour. I could easily watch.
It's about 40 minutes.
I could easily watch 8 of those episodes in a week and not even pay.
Well, there you go.
And the funny part is, it's not that I want to do that. It's that when I look at the content that Disney Plus has right now, I sit there and I'm saying to myself, okay, other than if I want to watch movies or if I want to watch old programming, what do I really get off of this? There's no other current programming that is immediately on the way that I'm aware of with Disney Plus that is making any real hay. So when that stuff starts to happen, yeah, then I'll consider it.
Okay, so you're looking for way more content because right now, both fiscally and interest-wise, it's not fulfilling to you just yet.
Yeah, I just don't. To me personally, with the amount of different, and especially with the amount of different streaming services, like for example, at some point I'm going to want to see the rest of Picard. Okay,
Right.
so that's $10 a month. When I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to watch The Good Fight, which is the spinoff of The Good Wife, and I did see season 1 on CBS because they were trying to get Emmy consideration, and I liked it a lot. So I'll probably watch some of that and the other because I'm killing two birds with one stone, and I'll do it for a month or something like that to be able to watch that when it's all finished and complete. Just like at some point I knew I was going to, it just so happens I have a friend who has DC Universe at the moment and said, do you want to borrow? And I say, do I ever?
Okay.
So that's how right now, because honestly, I was waiting for there to be a good amount of content to make it make sense.
Well, to make it worth your while. Yeah, of course.
Right, because it is what, if you start to get this one and start to get that one, start to get this one, because you want to watch all this other stuff, it starts to add up.
I think that's the strategy for this whole streaming situation. You can get this, and this, but you can't get that because that's on a different stream. But of course, if you want that, then of course, you're going to get this, and this, but not this, which of course you go to that, and then you end up getting that. Yeah, see, so, yeah, it's all about making money. It all goes back to that.
Oh, sure.
But in that respect, so as far as the cable companies are concerned, I'll make you a sucker prediction. It's 2020. I would say by 2022, I think cable might be done because.
Here's the interesting part to that.
What's that?
So, Peacock, which comes out later this year, is NBC Universal Comcast.
Right.
So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out with Comcast subscribers.
Well, depending as far as what's happening with cable subscriptions, which of course are on a downslide now because of, like I said, the advent of all the streaming services and all the different.
Yeah, we've had this discussion many times.
We've had this many times, so I'm just saying that much like old media, it's going to have its time where it's going to be part of the antiquated situation, and then you think, well, what more could they do? And it's surprising what more they could do.
But the answer is, Ivan, is at least two of them, because both AT&T and Comcast are built into media companies, and both of them have streaming services that launched this year.
Right.
So the question to me is, if I'm getting cable or DirecTV, I don't remember if DirecTV is in with them or not, but if I'm getting some sort of cable or satellite TV from AT&T, or I'm getting cable from Comcast, how does that relate to, say, when their streaming services show up? Is that something that I get part of? Is that something where I get reduced? How is that going to work? Because I can't imagine that that's not been a factor.
No, that's because then you get something that's competing one against the other. So I'm sure somewhere down the line they're going to go ahead and say, "Well, yeah, you got our cable services, but we can offer you for a premium part of our streaming service in addition to what you got with our cable system, or vice versa, depending on how they lay that out. It all depends on how, they can do that, because to try to run a streaming service alongside a cable service is almost financial suicide. It's kind of like, that would be something that, it borders on greedy after a while, unless of course you're willing to make a compromise, say, hey, we got Xfinity, but when you get Xfinity for another $5-10 a month, we'll give you Hulu and Doo and who do you do with Voodoo do well, and that type of thing, so it, you would think that would be the smart way to do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is just me, just shaking the rocks in my head a little bit and just kind of thinking on the fly, but what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that's a viability?
Well,
no,
I mean,
no, it's not.
I don't know. Because here's the thing. Like right now, I can't remember who. I think it's Sprint. I think it's Sprint right now, where Sprint cut a deal with Disney where if you get a Sprint phone if you're using Sprint right now,
right,
I think you're getting a year of Disney Plus for free.
Ooh.
It's to tie it into a contract, yeah.
Right, it's a contract.
Yeah, but that's again another incentive for you to buy the phone.
Right, but the point I'm getting at is, so there's that, and then if they are doing it, AT&T's going to do it with HBO Max.
Of course.
So to me, what I honestly can see at the moment is to build subscriber base. Is I could see it going in reverse with some of these companies that have satellite or cable services, which is, here, we're going to give you this for free for a few months to see if you like it.
Right.
Okay. I think that could be more of a direction that they may go.
More of a viable thing, more of an incentive for that type of activity. I see. I
think that's the direction they're going to go, at least initially, because they want to build. Look, they want to be able to sit there and say, especially with some of these shows that they're building new content on, they want to be able to sit there and go, well, we had this many people watch it. Well, if you have a whole bunch of people on your, like, for example, Peacock is doing new Saved by the Bell. Okay.
Okay.
If you know that you could get more people watching it because I can get them access from Comcast, you do it.
Right. That's true.
I mean, just like, for example, look at the fact that, I went to go, okay, CBS decided to do a different way. They gave us a free episode, the first episode of Picard for free on YouTube. Anybody can watch it right now. Anybody.
Well, the first one's always free.
Well, that's right. The first one is always free. Absolutely correct, Mike.
And the reason they're doing it is because they want to, they want to watch your beat. Like, for example, they've got me where I'm like, yeah, I'd be willing to go pick up a month to go see it. Congratulations. That's what your goal was.
Well, there you go. There's the incentive. The incentive to bring you to that point where you go ahead and pull the lettuce out of your wallet and pay for the services for what it's worth, for the time that it's worth, in that respect. So that would be the thing. Yeah, that'd be the way to do it. Speaking of doing it, I just had a passing thought away from, Comcast and television for a few seconds. I just got wind of Cybertronic Spree's new 2020 tour schedule.
Yeah,
I
did see that.
And they're coming to Chicago May 15th. I'm excited.
Yeah, they're on the north side. Yeah, and it's a Friday night. I think I might do it. I have to invite a couple of friends.
Yeah, I'm going to pull the trigger on that too. Because I think that'd be awesome. I mean, they did.
For those of us who don't know what that is.
Okay. Cybertronic Spree is a band that comes out in the G1 costumes of the Transformers and perform television themes, original rock songs, and it's a full-out rock and roll show. It's really, really good. And last year, Mike and I, went to the Beat Kitchen in Chicago when we caught them, and they brought down the house. They were fabulous.
Yeah, have you been to Lincoln Hall?
I've been to Lincoln Hall.
Okay.
Yes. Right. I know exactly where Lincoln Hall is. That's a Lincoln Hall Constellation. Yeah, I DJ'd in there. So yeah, that's
nice.
it's gonna be nice. I mean,
Okay.
they're getting that. That's gonna be awesome.
It'd be neat.
Yeah, we'll get to sit down. Woohoo!
I'm fine with that.
Me too. So Cybertronic Spree 2020, May 15th. They're coming to Chicago. I think they're doing 40 cities.
Yeah, with more dates to be announced.
More dates to be announced, exactly. So it's gonna be, that's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good show. I really feel it's gonna be a great show.
Yeah, we had a great show.
And then, of course, more Transformer news. Yes, BotCon is back.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise. I got a little bit clamped this morning when I saw the news that Carl Hartman is involved, and they're the ones that started the first Transformers convention back in 1994.
Right.
And in subsequent times, they've had some ups and downs, and of course there's another company that had the rights to the name BotCon, and then the live action movies hit, and then the attendance really exploded, and then that's where the fandom reached the mainstream. But then by 2015, 2016, by 2016 they lost the license, the Hasbro license, and Hasbro tried to do a thing on their own called HasCon, and that was a dumpster fire, pretty much. They lost their pants on that event. So I guess like some kind of statute of limitations has run out. So there's this another company that's exclusively just to acquire the rights to the name from Fun Publications. Right. So they can put on their own show. So summer 2021, hopefully, it's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm looking forward to just going
seeing old
there.
Friends.
So yeah, exactly. Not only that, just going as spectators going there as working the actual event like we've done in the past. With Matt Rasaki, and Rugby Starbase and all that. Many
good times. Never sure.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was cool. That was good news today. That was the best thing that happened all day. So Ivan, what have you been up to? We're almost about an hour in. It was like, Ivan, how was your week?
Well, aside from getting a whole lot of dates for this month, I mean, it's the Valentine's holiday, so a lot of events are popping up, for me to attend and spin records for.
Good.
On the 12th, I'll be in Pilsen at a place called the Honky Tonk Barbecue, from 9 to 1. And I'll be spinning out there. It's a new place for me. I'm rather excited about it. Going to be playing some kickin' rockabilly and 50s and early 60s rock and roll for that event. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. And then, of course, I just got the this is just a recent addition to my usual duties in the Logan Arcade. Duties at Logan Arcade. Yes, I'm going to be doing their Valentine's Day party this year, which is wonderful. I'm also doing a fundraiser on that Saturday, and then my Sweet Soulful Sunday. So it's like 12, 14, 15, 16, and then 17 I'll be back at Kohl's, and on the 19th I'll be back at Arcade again. So it's going to be a pretty busy week coming up. And also I'm making my triumphant return to Cafe Mustache this Friday from 10 till 2. So I'll be looking forward to that. So it's going to be a pretty busy month, taking care of all manner of things. And busy needle dropping incoming thousands of 45s that I ended up getting from the master import of 45s that came in last couple of weeks. So today I was busily needle dropping, getting the wheat from the chaff, if you will. And so far, I've got a dropout of 120 records right now that are actually going to go next to the clothes bin, people put the clothes in there, and then I guess they empty it out and they bring it to the people that need it. Well,
so where did you get this assortment of records? Is this from your collection, or is this from another source?
No, this is from the Electric Jungle. We ended up getting in. We ended up getting in several thousand 45s, and then of course John went through them, and then he was sweet enough to say, "Hey, see what else is in here," and I did that. And I'm sure you've seen from my pictures on Facebook and Instagram, the piles that look like the Marina Towers on top of my stereo. So, but I did manage to get some nice things so far. A lot of nice things so far. A lot of things here that were kind of out of the way. Like, here, I've got there was this one record. It's called The Black Cat Tango by two adorable Japanese Muppets, little kids. And it's 7 straight weeks, #1 in Japan and breaking worldwide. Yeah. Something I've never heard in my life. But it's a sleeve, and it's got the picture on it, and it says Billboard, Hits of the World, Japan. And it's got a big old marker in it saying #1 this week and last week. And I played it. It was terrible. So that's why it's going on. Yeah, that's all right. They're not all winners, man.
No, they can't all be winners. That's for sure.
No, they're not all winners. But, also, too, I ended up getting a bunch of really great albums that are in our dollar bin, which I've gone through and have enjoyed over the weekend. And so it's all good. Me and Marley, we enjoy our jazz sessions together in the music room here. So, and let me see. I went, Julie and I went to a belated Christmas party on Saturday. Christmas in February. I mean, everybody should do it. But, ate extremely well. It was a nice spread of food. I mean, everybody that cooked, we had turkey. We had mashed potatoes, we had mustard chili, we had spaghetti, we had meatballs, we had all manner of cakes and pies, we had roast beef, so it was a very hearty meal. Julie had to roll me down the stairs and get me back into the car because her sister's house is all the way, I think somewhere in Highland, Indiana. So it was a good Saturday, and then I recouped on Sunday, pretty much. And and that brings me to here, hanging out with my Bose here, and doing
your Bose headphones.
No, not our Bose. Our Bose, my Bose. You my Bose. You my boys. You my dudes. My men. My guys. My bros. My brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I don't hear Jeff.
I'm here.
Just listening attentively.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, now me to throw the ball to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, what'd you do this week?
I've been telling you most of it.
Yeah, you watching TV?
Caught way too much stuff.
That's all right. That's all right, though. But that's
too much stuff. So, all right. So we've been teasing it for like the entire show. Okay. So I finally got. Let's put this in perspective. I finally got around to watching Titans on the DC universe.
And you've heard me in conversations here on the show of what your perception of the show might be.
Well, and let's put this in perspective. When I was a kid, the new Teen Titans comic as a kid was my go-to comic. I mean, that was the one that I'd run to the comic book store every week. That's the first comic I checked to see what was in this week or this month. That was my jam. This was my book. For all the people who sit there and go, "Oh, X-Men, X-Men, X-Men," I was one of those kids it was all about the New Titans and this particular grouping of that, which is the grouping that's been most popular since the 80s. And So I know a lot of these stories. I grew up reading these stories. I mean, this is basically the basis for a lot of my understanding of superheroes from my childhood. I mean, this is one of the main books I would collect as a kid. So to me, watching this show, I already know a lot of these characters. I know these characters inside out, backwards and forwards. I've read them for decades. So yeah, watching a show, I mean, honestly, there's a part of me where I should have been incredibly excited to watch this show, because this is the show I've been looking for my entire life.
But you've been trepidatious.
I have been extremely trepidatious, especially because after I saw some of the trailers, I'm like, oh, and some of the pictures, I'm like, oh shit. So here's where we're at. I have not fully finished the season. Season 1. I am 2 episodes away from finishing the season. So people should keep that in mind when I'm talking about it. They made some interesting choices about where they decided to put some of the characters. And that, to me, there's 2 ways I can look at this, Mike. I can look at this from the perspective of what they decided to do, or what I think of what the choices they were that they made.
Yeah, but you see, you're making comparisons. Like, I don't know as much about it. I don't know much about it as you do. So seeing these characters fresh, I mean, the only knowledge I have is just pretty much ancillary viewings of the first Teen Titans animated series.
Yeah,
and a couple of the
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and a couple of the DC Universe films, they've touched upon that, especially when they've got like Damian Wayne and Blue Beetle in the crew. But
yeah,
going in pretty much almost as a layman, I seem to think obviously the focus is a lot on Rachel or Raven.
Right, and it should. In season 1, it should.
Yeah.
It should. I think, to give perspective, I think that here's an example of where I think I would have liked to have seen them start with Dick Grayson the way I know Dick Grayson to be, rather than this Dick Grayson who's trying to find himself, that's in this transition between Robin and Nightwing. And in fairness, based on that, they get the character pretty right. They get the character pretty well right. They've kind of got a good idea of it. I think it's interesting because
I think Dick Grayson's character was more interesting when you've Jason Todd's been in it now, right?
Yeah, I've seen.
Okay, you've seen Jason Todd. Okay,
I have.
All right.
And
for Ivan's sake, Jason Todd is the guy who took over for Robin when Dick Grayson left Bruce.
Okay.
He's the second Robin.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I know that Robin went through several transitions over the.
There have been several Robins over the years.
Right, and I mean, my knowledge of the Titans also stems from the Warner Brothers series. Me and Soraya, we were ardent followers.
Yeah,
I own all 5 seasons of the Titans, plus the movies. And and I know that Raven has always had a problem kind of keeping in with her powers. So is that where they went with this in the first episodes?
To a degree.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this right now. This is definitely not for Soraya.
Oh, I know. I don't.
This is definitely not for the kids. I'm sure there's some apparent.
They really like blood splatter in this show.
Well, I mean, because Soraya's gonna be 21 in 2 months, so it's
then she'll.
Yeah,
but
she's not 8 still.
Kids, right? If you're talking about kids or teenage, at a certain age of teenagers. Yeah, this is not the show for them.
Not for the under 13 crew, no.
Yeah, this is not the show for them. That's been one of the headaches I've had about how Warners have dealt with the Titans as a whole is, they decided that they were going to make them more for kids, and with that show, and that got them very, very popular. And then Teen Titans Go got very, very popular. And so the problem is that you have two sets of audiences. You have an older set of audiences that remember them as I do, and then you have this younger set of audiences that remember them who look at them very, very differently.
Oh, right.
And so it's like, for example, there was a period of time where in the regular comics, they pretty much made Starfire like totally flat chested because you know they have to try to make her look like what's on the TV show, and that to me was because a lot of people were like, what the hell are you doing? And then the irony is, and more in a recent time frame, they made her very, very sexualized, and parents went nuts because it's like, how am I supposed to show this to my kid?
Yeah, but the thing is
Starfire?
Well, see, but Starfire in her initial, comic book presentation was fully grown and busty and full of pecs and muscles and tall and redhead and
boobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Very busty.
Seeing some of the artwork for previous incarnations of Starfire, there's been some scantily clad outfits for her.
There's some it's been modified quite a bit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the comics, she's, Corey Anders, which they do bring up the Corey Anders concept. In the comics, she's a model. I mean, she's a model for a long period of time. She's a hot in desire, on demand model. So it's. I feel like I'm bouncing around on this, which is overall, I'm happy with what I'm seeing based on the choices that they made. I'm good with what I've got. I think it's interesting because, as I said to somebody when I was watching the first episodes, there's a scene where Robin is fighting and it's dark, and I can actually see the freaking actor, versus if this was Marvel, it'd be so dark I'd be squinting to figure out if that's Daredevil. So good for DC that they're not
putting him in the light
where okay, now enter stunt doubles because we need to make it so dark that the stunt double, so it's all silhouetted, so you can't see a fucking thing.
I think also too, it's also shading for the people who are doing the censure and of course are kind of leery about the content of what they're trying to put out there. Let's face it, it's good against evil, and there is a lot of fighting, there's a lot of violence, and and that's always been the status situation in everything comic book / shows for decades, but now, you have this new sensibility going around with, it's gotta be PC and this and that and every other thing, and it kind of takes away from that whole dynamic.
Well, no, it's not so much that, Ivan, it's just the Marvel Netflix shows, when it comes time for a fight, okay, it's like either A, they didn't train these guys, or B, they didn't have the budget or something, because all of a sudden you'd have these fight sequences and it gets ridiculously dark to the point where you can't even, it's like you can put the brightness up, good luck, you're still not seeing what the hell's going on.
Well, yeah, it becomes light and it becomes shadows is what it becomes.
Oh, it becomes beyond shadows. It's like,
but yeah, silhouettes and shadows.
You don't even get to see silhouettes. You don't even know. I mean, when I say you don't get to see silhouettes, I mean like
you don't see a damn thing.
You can't even see the costume.
Oh.
I mean, it's that dark.
But it's not enough to make anything out, really.
Right, exactly. It's like the best way I can explain when I'm watching a Marvel Netflix show, when I'm watching a fight on a Marvel Netflix show, when they get into dark sequences where it's at night, is it reminds me of like back when I was a kid and I used to go on the old like adult channels on cable and it would have the fuzzy stuff. And it's like, hey, I think I saw a boob.
Trying to watch scrambled porn, right?
Right.
Yeah, scrambled porn. Trying to decipher.
Trying to make out what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, I think I saw Daredevil. I'm just not sure.
Maybe.
But I think where they decided to place Dick Grayson is interesting. They definitely have got the Dick Grayson's ladies' man thing down. They've got that down pretty good. I think it's interesting where they decided to go with it, and because my first reaction was that's not the right fighting style for Dick Grayson when I first saw it, but they decided to go with I'm trying to figure out where I am between Robin and Nightwing, and they kind of put him in this spot where that's the case. And
but again, in transition, post Robin, pre Nightwing.
Yeah,
so
all the characters seem to have their issues they're all working through, which is totally real. I mean, they all got real problems.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing. In the comics, though, and again, this is me comparing to the comics. In the comics, though, Dick Grayson doesn't necessarily. Well, in fairness, he does disappear, but not at this time frame when he initially meets them. But obviously, they're throwing a couple different things together, and that's fine. I like I said, based on what they're trying to do, I'm for it. I definitely am a little surprised that he's as violent as he is, because that's just something where I kind of question a little bit about some level of the violence. The one line about where everybody complained about the fuck Batman, now that I've seen the context, I'm not nearly as annoyed about that as I would have been or was. They didn't give the fact that they gave us no context for that.
Yeah,
and
Mr. Grayson's going through a phase. That's all.
Well, it's not even that. If I was Dick Grayson and basically I showed up, but the scene, Ivan. So you're aware, the scene is Dick Grayson shows up and they're all looking around for Batman. And he's
because he's still wearing the Robin suit.
Right, he's still wearing the Robin suit.
And the first thing out of their mouths is, "Where's Batman?"
Where's Batman? And then even when they don't see Batman, they're standing around, looking around all over the place. Even when he's about ready to fight him, and they're still looking for Batman,
waiting for the other shoe to drop.
So it becomes this belittlement, in the eyes of Rob.
And then they're like, "Oh, it's just him alone. Like he's worthless." So he basically savages them and basically absolutely obliterates them. Yeah, my reaction after that would be, yeah, fuck Batman. I'm with him at that point.
I got this. I got this shit.
I mean, yeah. So I do think, like I said, based on where they're going with it, I like the characterization. Although I really think they could have used a bigger look. I think he could have been bulkier a little bit more. But they've got the whole Dick Grayson ladies man thing down already. I mean, they really got it down already. They already figured out that he's like Dick Grayson ladies man. And they've got it. There's enough of certain things that they've done where they've got the right characterization.
And that's good.
With what they've done with Raven, I mean, they went more to the 2000 version where she's more Rachel Roth and she's more of the teenage version. And there's things with it where she's still trying to figure out certain aspects. It's good enough for what it is. It's livable. It makes sense. The Beast Boy thing, I give them credit because they at least kind of start him out in an interesting place where he comes from in the comics, which is, he's originally part of the Doom Patrol bunch, and that's kind of where we find him.
In the middle or kind of towards the exit of the Doom Patrol situation?
Well, they don't necessarily do it that way. And it's funny because they actually use an episode of Titans for us to meet the Doom Patrol, and then ironically they spun off an entire season of Doom Patrol. I'm going to see if I can get to it this week before I lose access, because I've heard Doom Patrol is supposedly spectacular.
Yeah, I hear it's good.
And I think they got Brendan Fraser to play the Robot Man, and they got Mike what's his name? Matt Bomer to play the Negative Man. And it's funny because in the Titans episode, they didn't have him to play the Chief, but in the actual Doom Patrol series, they got Timothy Dalton to play the Chief.
Nice.
So
who plays Cyborg?
I don't know, and that's the
And he's not seen in the Titans episode.
Right, he's not seen in the Titans version.
Oh, okay.
They
So
teased
he's
that
not
for the Doom Patrol series.
Yeah, that's another thing that sticks in my. That's a different thing that sticks in my craw about this, which is
that's because of the whole thing with Justice League. So
right, the whole thing is the Justice League problem, which is they thought that he was going to go to Justice League. They didn't want to mix anything, so they did it without it. They put this in development without him. And now it doesn't look like Cyborg's going to be part of that extended movie verse. So they brought him into Doom Patrol, and I kind of laugh. I wonder if at some point he might transition to the Titans later with that actor, but we'll see.
Well, it would be clever if they did. It would make it work.
It would, but we haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
I thought what they did with Gar is interesting enough. Like I said, it's interesting because they give backstory. And they give backstory. They do a lot of backstory at times in sections. In the series that I've seen so far. At the same time, I kind of sit there and I'm like, sometimes I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, interesting. Sometimes I'm like, eh. Like, there's a lot of Dick Grayson backstory where I'm like, for the general casual. Although I'll ask you, Mike. Because you're not as up on Titans and stuff, but you are you do kind of know a little bit about.
I'm more than what you'd call the casual viewer.
Right. I mean,
well, I have some work.
We're not talking about CW. We're talking about somebody going out of their way to pay for the service. Did you really need that much backstory on the history of Dick Grayson?
I was just frustrated that we didn't see Bruce Wayne in season 1. We'll see him in season 2, but. I was just frustrated that he was like the wah wah wah, that kind of thing. They almost went that route with where they don't even see.
See, to me that doesn't surprise me though because of the problems with Batman rights problems.
Yeah,
is that doesn't surprise me nearly as much because I know when you're dealing with Batman, there's all kinds of rights issues and certain things where the red tape gets a little bit. But
in answer to your question, no, they focused a lot on Dick Grayson, and I don't know, I'm fine with it.
I mean, it works. See, to me, that's where I sit there and I'm like, okay, great, it's character development. I'm kind of like, if you don't know a lot of what you're giving you for Dick Grayson, maybe you shouldn't be watching this show because it's not like this is a CW show. You're paying money to see this show.
But not everybody is on the level of intelligentsia as, say, you or Mike or myself.
Well, but no, Ivan, it's stuff that even you would know, like backstory on what happened to his parents, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, maybe perhaps if they just did it as a refreshing kind of drop and then go type of thing, maybe it would have worked better instead of an extended piece by piece, part by part flashback model.
It wouldn't have. They're better off going the way they did. I'll get to some of the side actors first, which is. I
got one question though before you go on. Does Slade make it up? Does Slade make
That's
it up?
That's a season 2 character.
Season 2.
That's a season 2.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see what that's going to look like because Arrow used Slade a lot. And I'm curious to see how they make the differences because the guy who played Slade in Arrow was phenomenal, and he was great.
Yeah, this guy was okay. Who played Deathstroke? He was fine.
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
Are there any parallels? In this series of the Titans that could be relatable to say the stuff they did in not the current Titan Go animation, but in the original WB animation? Are there parallels to the character builds and story?
Some, but not a lot.
Not that much though. It's a different world, Ivan.
Yeah, it's a different world.
It's a totally different universe. Okay,
it's a lot different, and the builds are a lot different about where they're going with it.
Okay, because see, as you can tell, I've not actually seen it yet, but
right.
I want to see it now that you guys have spoken more about it. Now my senses are stirred, if you will coin an old Jive and Ivan phrase. I would like to go ahead and check that out because I've always liked the Titans. I was a big fan of the old WB show and everything. So I've always been a fan that way. I mean, I was never into the comics, but when Soraya, and I got on that bus, towards that whole thing. I mean, we went gun ho with that whole thing, and it still stands up to this day. So that's where I'm basing all of my information about the Titans on, is from that. So that's why I'm asking the questions I'm asking, because I mean the earlier series before it became, should I dare say it, before it became dumbed down, for the kids and everything, when Cartoon Network, got their grippers into it, I mean it was a great show, at least I thought so. Okay.
So just before I get to Starfire, we get to meet Hawk and Dove. I think they're well done. All I'm going to say is Minka Kelly. Oh God.
Yeah,
Minka
she's hot.
Kelly
She's
so well, and she's from Friday Night. Like, she used to go out with Derek Jeter at one point,
Mm.
or was it A-Rod?
I don't remember.
She's been hot for a long time. She's
pretty cute. She's easy on the eyes, that's for sure.
And there's that one scene in episode 9 where I'm just like, wow.
I wish that would be.
Wow. And the guy who plays Hank Hall does
He's like a Walmart
too.
version of John Cena.
Walmart version.
He's okay.
It's an interesting photography.
My biggest headache with the person they've got playing Donna Troy is I feel like Donna Troy should be hotter.
No, she's fine. I think she's
honestly
pretty good.
I'd love to see the person who's playing Donna Troy. Now, in fairness, Mike, you've had the ability to see season 2. I have not. If I was going to do casting, I would switch her and Minka Kelly. The problem is that
because she is an Amazon, and Amazon have a reputation
for being.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that she's wearing the clothes. Yeah. Maybe it's the way she's wearing the clothes.
Yeah, they don't pull that card like they do. They don't want to make her into like Wonder Woman 2. So.
But it's still.
I'm okay with Dove being the hottie on the show.
Who? Oh, yeah. So that brings us to Starfire. I want to be clear. I think the based on what they're doing and how they're doing it, I think the actress who's playing her does a great job. I think the chemistry is there between her and the guy who plays Dick Grayson. It works. I can see it. I get it. At the same time,
but there's a but in there.
Starfire is probably the hottest hero in DC Comics.
Hotter than Wonder Woman? Get out of town.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
No, I would have. I kind of split between the two, but if one presented an opportunity to say, save me, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. But then of course I have a thing about redheads. So
I'm telling you right now, she is okay. The point being is, she's in the top 2. She's right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's pretty
in the
good.
top.
Yeah.
She's in the top. I mean, she's one of the top of the top. I mean, she's got to be. I mean, and I think the one who's playing her is a great actress, but I don't sit there with my tongue wagging out, going, "Oh my God."
Not like you would.
No, I think they leave that to other fiction. And she's a strong female character, so she's. I think they're going that route.
See, I think the irony is. I think the irony is that's where they go the other direction with the kid theory is, oh, we're just going to make her into a strong character, and she's pretty, but the hair doesn't work for me.
It changes in season 2.
The hair doesn't work for me. The continual purple dress that makes her look like a hooker doesn't work for me.
They still got her in the mini skirt and the boots.
Yeah. They got her. They just make her look like a trashy. I mean, at no point. And the weird part is, I understand why she looks like that based on where she starts, but it's like it's like, I'm kind of like, at some point, doesn't she get to change clothes or have a different pair of clothes?
There will be some wardrobe changes, but she won't be like in a proper like outfit.
Well, I mean, even if it's not proper, I mean, I don't know. All I know is,
well, I mean, the first Starfire incarnation in the comic books, I mean, did she have a close fitting type of suit in her initial presentation?
Well, yeah. I mean, she's wearing, yeah. I mean, they can't use that. They can't use that on TV.
I know.
Well, they
could, if it was left up to us, that'd be a different story.
Right.
But,
I mean, yeah. I mean, that'd be phenomenal. I mean, yeah. Wow.
I
mean, yeah, we can see all the lines from here. But
yeah, exactly. And I think that's. I mean, to give perspective, I mean, it's kind of funny because in the show at one point, the guy who's playing Beast Boy or Gar kind of refers to Dick and Corey as mom and dad, and all I know is in the comics. Gar has the biggest boner for Starfire you've ever seen in your life. I mean, there are entire scenes, there are entire things where he's like the rabbit looking to hump her leg. I mean, he just...
But didn't Beast Boy have the hots for Raven as well? I mean,
that's in the cartoon. That's in the cartoon.
That's what I'm saying. But
in the cartoon, and that's there. That's there for you. If that's what you're looking for, that's there for you. The two of them, they've kind of paired them off very, very nicely. Where it's that kind of thing. But because I remember back in the cartoon, I mean, he was like all about trying to date, you know, either Starfire or Raven. It just kind of get lost in that. But now, as far as like the series, at least he's got a better chance with Raven than he did before. But he still has a boner for Starfire. Wow. Oh no! In the show he doesn't. In the live action he doesn't. But in the comics, I mean. That's why I was saying in the comics, she's so smoking hot.
Yeah, I know.
Just is like to the point where at times he can't control the hormones. Because he's younger than them. And
they eliminate that in the
series. They totally eliminate that concept entirely.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Because of the age group, he gravitates towards Rachel.
Well, the demographic that they're shooting for now.
They've aged them to the same age, which is the difference. Which is Raven used to be closer to Dick and Corey's age, and now they've de-aged her to where she's closer to Gar's age. And they've played off of that whole concept from the cartoon because for some strange reason that seemed to be a popular pairing, and they've gone along with that. The part where Gar can't wear clothes in the first season because when he turns into the tiger, which is the only form he knows, and then
or snake.
Clothes.
I think was he a snake yet?
We haven't gotten.
He was
that
a snake
far
once, I think, and that was it.
Most of the time,
his go-to is a tiger. But I think once or twice, he makes a snake.
Yeah,
it's DC budget. It's not Marvel.
Right. He hasn't figured out his powers yet. So far it's just been a tiger, but the part where he doesn't have clothes that fit, so in the end he ends up always being naked.
Yeah.
That was funny that was funny for a minute or two. After the third time it's like, come on. Somebody get the boy some clothes.
Yeah, somebody's got to be carrying a backpack when they go into battle.
Or you're Dick Grayson. You're Dick Grayson. You work with Bruce Wayne. You can't tell me you can't get access to some sort of suit that changes with his body. Come on, stop it. Just stop.
You can't have a tiger in a suit that changes shape like the stretchy pants that the Hulk has.
Yeah.
Or something that kind of goes with the body, like the Incredibles, where it's just like it's all
right, that kind of thing.
There.
Yeah, you know that kind of stuff exists, and that can be done.
Yeah, like in the Avengers, where they had the time suits, where they just tap the shoulder and the suit just kind of peers around them, you know?
Exactly. Oh, and by the way, Jason Todd is perfectly cast because he's a dick.
Yes, he's awesome.
He's a total dick. And
wait till season 2. I liked him in season 2.
I liked him better when the Joker killed him. But anyway. in the comics. But
See, and
we won't
Ivan
get
laughed
to
at
that.
that. See, that's
I know he
why,
did.
why so serious.
Nobody liked Jason. That was a character. There's an example of a character who later on everybody likes for all the wrong reasons. But when he first showed up, everybody hated that guy. There's a reason why he died. There's a reason why he died in that phone voting, because he was a dick. Nobody liked that character at all.
Wow.
Spoiler alert: he doesn't die in season 2.
I'm sure he doesn't, because we haven't got. Well, I'm assuming the Joker ain't there.
No.
Yeah, overall, it's better than I thought it would be. Again, I got 2 episodes to go, so we'll see.
You were like dancing on eggshells. You're like so like I don't want to.
Well, my expectations are still lower.
But you weren't the least bit curious.
No.
All right.
I
Well,
really
I'm glad you're
wasn't.
finally
The reason why is-
like you took my advice. Do it and just start from the beginning.
Well, I did, and in fairness, the other part is like I said, if you really want me to go there, I can tell you all the things that bothered me about it and all the things I would have done differently, which is why I said there's 2 ways we can talk about this. We can talk about what we saw versus, or we can talk about what I would do.
Well, that's a different show. So.
Well, again, that's me being a Titans fan to the core and going, here's what I would have done differently, and why does it take us spoilers? Well, not spoilers, but why does it take
3 episodes for the Teen Titans to get on Discovery?
Hey, you know what? Why does it take them? Well, why does it take them 3 episodes? Why does it take them 4 episodes to get together? You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the nuclear family was interesting.
That's part of Brother Blood, right?
I don't think so.
Isn't Brother Blood the cult that worships Trigon?
See, they changed that.
Yeah.
That didn't used to be the case. Jeff Johns changed that back in the 2000s. That didn't used to be the case.
Okay.
Back in the day, they were 2 separate entities. That was 2 entirely separate entities that had nothing to do with one another, and that got changed by Jeff Johns. At one point, that became where they intertwined the 2. I hope that that's not what's really going to go on here, because I'd really like to see some Brother Blood stuff later on, but we'll see. Yeah, my expectations were pretty low when I walked in. I hate to say it. So I guess I feel better about it now based on that. Like I said, to me, I would have preferred that, we did some of these more as we did the how they got together more as backstory kind of things, versus we're going to travel together and then turn into the team that we know them to be, and that it takes them 2 seasons to get to Nightwing. I would have rather have had Nightwing in season 1 and then explain how he got there, but that's just me. I'd have preferred that, but this is what they decided to do.
But it's still good.
It's solid. Like I said, it's solid enough. It's solid enough for me to want to watch it. Like I said, to me, it's solid enough for me to want to watch it because it's the characters. They do a good enough job with the characters that are from what I'm watching that I'm willing to continue to watch. Like I said, to me, it's frustrating because based on where they place Starfire, it works. And in fairness, I haven't gotten to that episode where they explain. I think they explain what happened or how that's all working.
Yeah, that's coming in later in season 2. You will see some more people from Tamaran later.
Well, no, I mean she's still at memory loss,
right,
where she doesn't know what she is at all.
I think that's the next episode, the last one before the finale.
It is the next episode. I didn't get to it.
But season 2 was better in my opinion. So,
well, that in fairness, if you're telling me that season 2 is better, this was better than I expected. I'm waiting on season 2 to watch with a friend a little bit. So I'm curious to see how season 2 goes. But yeah, it's better than I expected. I'm surprised it's solid enough as it is. There are times where I'm kind of sitting there going, again, if this was a CW show, I'd be all over some of the backstory stuff for Dick Grayson. But this is how do I put this? If this isn't like I bought HBO Max, or I bought Netflix, or I bought Disney Plus. This is DC Universe. This isn't exactly like a top tier streaming service. If you bought this, you pretty much kind of know the background of Dick Grayson, I think. But that's just me. I could be very, very wrong about that. I thought it was interesting, too, that a lot of it's based in the Midwest.
Yeah. I don't see any familiar buildings when they're in Chicago, though.
I did.
Okay, good. Cool.
I did. They were actually in the city, so I was kind of surprised by that, too. So. But yeah, like I said, I better than I expected.
Just continue. You'll be all right. And the old comics will still be there, Jeff.
Well, it's the part where I don't want you destroying my childhood.
But you're not.
You destroy my childhood,
still have
I know well enough.
Hey, as long as you're still hanging out with us, you'll always have your childhood.
Yikes.
That didn't sound right.
No, it didn't. It's not right at all. That didn't sound right at all.
I said that in earnest.
I know.
I know. It just didn't sound right.
Oh.
Okay. I meant well by it.
Hey, I didn't watch anything. I bought Terminator Dark Fate on DVD, but I haven't popped it in yet. I want to watch it, like deleted scenes and all that, but I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Let me know, because I'm curious. That's on demand. I just have not. Honestly, there's enough content between TV and some of the stuff I've got my hands on. I haven't gotten to the movies in a while. I haven't. You get the point.
Yeah.
Right.
So. Do we have anything else, or is that?
I don't know. I really, I didn't watch anything this weekend. I did lose 15 pounds in the month of January, so.
Yay.
Good job, Mike.
All right.
I had one binge weekend though. I was good. I was like a whole month, and now I was like Saturday and Sunday. I gorged. I had like a whole bag of Doritos.
Oh wow!
And a 2-liter of Pepsi.
All right.
So I was but today it was back to salads and water. So I'll be good, and I'm feeling better physically. Not today. I don't know. I hope I'm not coming down with a cold or something. But yeah, I'm doing good with my diet. I'm really happy with that. How that's going.
Well, that's good.
But it was a slow, nice, relaxing weekend. So I didn't watch any content. I'm going to get around to Terminator. But oh well. Yeah, I had a good weekend. It was all good.
My crazy cat.
Your crazy cat? What's it doing?
He's caught in a bag.
Oh no.
Let me set you free. Hang on. Yeah, there you go.
Oh. Cat's out of the bag?
Cat's out of the bag. I think
right.
Cat's out of this episode, too.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I reckon, I guess, I don't know, that'll do, I guess. Unless
Yeah.
we have anything else?
I ain't got nothing.
All right.
Well, could you tell us where they can find us?
Absolutely, my friend. I'd appreciate it if I did. I'd appreciate it if I did. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You know when the content drops. We're on Facebook. That's where we have all the crazy stories from our other show. Not this one. It's the other one called News of the Squared. Shout out to Scott.
Scott.
And we're on all the popular podcasting platforms. Google, Apple, Spotify, PodBean, Anchor. Leave us a 5-star review if you'd like. You'd appreciate it very much. And email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com.
We're even on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're on YouTube. They can click that bell. They'll know when new stuff comes. We'd appreciate any commentary, even if it's crappy commentary. We'll take it all.
Whatever.
We'll take it all. We got tough skins. We're okay. We're good in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that'll do for this week.
Well, thank you for joining us here at the Squares of the Round Table podcast. And of course, I'm Ivan Rivera, Ivan, of course, Mike and Jeff. Thank you for joining us this evening, today, whatever time you're going to hear this, tomorrow, the next day.
In the future.
But hey, we will catch up with you sooner than later.